Oh, it is always a pleasure when I have my great friend Damon Bruce, aka Damon Bruce Plus.
Cyrus, you're
very popular.
You're catching up to me in beard grayness. So congratulations, or I'm sorry. No matter, it depends on how you look at it.
I've had these grays since like my late 20s in this part of my goatee. I mean, it's bigger now than it was, but
yeah, it's
banding
towards the cheeks.
Let's talk Warriors. This is Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. Game off. We got to talk more about Monopoly Go. This fast-paced game lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. So download Monopoly Go, now free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on! And I just realized I need to update my audio input. I'm sorry, folks, if I sound weird. I'm going to fix that in just a second. But for now, let's get into our guest for today, Damon Bruce, host of Damon Bruce Plus. Your YouTube channel is exploding, brother. I'm happy for you. People can follow you on Twitter at Damon Bruce. How the hell are you doing, man? How is your Warriors? I know that football is keeping you busy, but how is your Warriors offseason going? It's the earliest it's been in a long time. And your thoughts on the Warriors. I know people want to hear your summary, your feelings on how the Warriors did this past season. And how the hell are you doing, man?
First of all, always good to see you. It's a pleasure to join you. You know how much I love talking sports with you, and we've been doing it for, like 20 years or so. So it's always good to see you, brother. Here's the thing. I miss the Warriors in the postseason. I really do. It's so much fun watching them play in the postseason, and there really is a level of postseason basketball that is just unlike the regular season. And I feel like we didn't even get to really see the Warriors because you don't even really get to see your basketball team until the postseason comes around, which is why I did a video just this week saying it's time for the NBA to reconsider how they vote for the MVP. This is not a shot against Nikola Jokic, but it's time to start incorporating postseason consideration into MVP consideration.
Interesting.
And I know that we haven't done that in the past, but we have a sport now that is different than it was in the past, Cyrus, where it's not like hockey where everybody is just balls to the wall all regular season, and then it goes up even another notch in the playoffs. Basketball is telling us in real time, these 82 games really don't mean a damn thing. And no one's going to go out and play that hard in any of them. And then you watch the level of defense. The Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 2 against the Denver Nuggets played 1985 Chicago Bears level defense. The game was a blowout. And Cyrus, I couldn't take my eyes off of it. It was the ultimate, like, what else is on? This is not competitive. I couldn't stop watching the defense. There's something intoxicating about dudes slapping floors and playing as hard as they can. And that's why I really, tonight it's gots to have it night for the Nuggets, right? It's gots to have it night for the Pacers. You can't go down 0-3 in these series. So high leverage basketball this Friday night. It's unfortunate that the Warriors aren't involved in high leverage basketball this year, that they didn't make it to the tournament. Those play-in losses, they ain't playoff games. So, it sucks. We've been spoiled. They have officially held on to their competitive life cycle for a longer time than most teams are ever allowed, and that seems to be universally unappreciated amongst Warriors fans, which is why I get mad at Warriors fans sometimes. All good things come to an end. How much can they use this opportunity this offseason to have one more shot? And even if they pull every right lever, do they even have that one more shot in them? Because to me, the entire theme of this postseason is youth is being served.
Yep.
And no matter what the Warriors do, they ain't going to be younger next year. That's unavailable to them. So let's see what happens. It's an off season where it feels like they need a big change, but there are not a lot of big options to change. So good luck.
Well, and I'm glad you brought up the Timberwolves Nuggets series. It's fascinating that the Nuggets are facing a must-win game this early in the postseason. I didn't expect, I don't know if you expected it, I did not expect the Nuggets to be facing mortality this soon. It's wild, but I also feel like, and I don't know if you share this opinion, that this Minnesota Nuggets series is the NBA Finals. I no disrespect to the Thunder. I think they're going to put up a fight. A complete disrespect to the Celtics. I don't think the Celtics can beat this Timberwolves team. I think OKC is the only other team that has a shot, but I feel like this is the NBA Finals. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I certainly think the winner of this series represents the West, because I like Dallas, don't love them. Oklahoma City is still a year away.
Yeah.
But how impressive have they been? I mean, my God, right up until losing on their home court just last evening, they hadn't allowed 100 points in a single playoff game. So they're really impressive. And you want to talk about a team that's got options? Oh, my God. I mean, there is no player that can't fit into what the Thunder are doing next year based on all the picks that they could flip for anybody, all the cap space that they have because it's a relatively very young and underpaid team to this point. Plus they've got, Sam Presti, who is just, his business card might as well say not fucking around. That guy's fantastic at what he does. So the Thunder feel like they've got the brightest future. The Timberwolves are sort of painted into it's going to happen now or never. And I do think it might happen for them right now. They're in a tough market to where paying the salary demands of this team going forward are basically going to be unimaginable. So this might be their one and only real bite at the apple. And they look like they're hungry. They really do. So they have been the best watch. How about that? They're definitely the best watch in the NBA this postseason.
And I'm sure Timberwolves fans will push back on that by saying, look, Anthony Edwards is only 22. Big Cat is, this could just be the start of a long run as well, right? I mean, I know Rudy Gobert is not the youngest, but they got a lot of young pieces. And Sam Presti, my two thoughts with him is, one, how the hell do you keep doing this? You are one of, if not the best GMs in basketball. They have one free agent this offseason, and that's Gordon Hayward. That's by design. They traded for him so they could watch him walk away and they could save money, which leads to my second point about Presti. Why are you in OKC? You can have any job in the NBA you want. There, like OKC is where you find your happiness. That's bizarre to me. But
here's the thing, Cyrus. He's got the biggest war chest in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
He has more first and second round picks to play with, all by his design. It's one thing to go out and want to buy a mansion. It's another thing entirely to build your own house. And Sam Presti has built his own house, and I think he wants to live in it. I've never been to Oklahoma City. He probably at this stage in his life really isn't like I need to go out to a nightclub guy. So, You could maybe be the general manager in a big market and live in a really nice condo in some city, or you can live in Oklahoma City for pennies on the dollar and have a 300-acre ranch and more ability to field competitive NBA teams than just about any other team in the league, based on the setup that he's made for himself. So,
Damon, I've traveled.
It's a place I might not want to move to. But if you're striking gold right there, you probably don't want to move away.
Many years ago when I was exec producing the KNBR morning show, I don't know if Chris Townsend is a mutual friend. I don't know what your.
I know Chris, absolutely. Yeah. I love Chris very much.
I love Chris. Him and I are close friends, and we traveled to Oklahoma to do a remote show from this bar called the It'll Do. It was just this dive bar. Everyone's chain smoking in there. It was the time of our lives. The point is, the most redeeming quality of Oklahoma, from my perspective, was Norman. Phenomenal college town. Those brick buildings, worshiping the football program. It's incredible. Barry Switzer. What's the guy they drafted in the 80s? Brian Bosworth. I mean, Those guys are gods. They're legends there. But with that said, I've traveled to 34 states in this country. The Northeast is all that's remaining for exploration in Alaska. And there's only 2 states I've found that really don't have much redeemable qualities. No disrespect, but I know people may get offended. Oklahoma and Iowa. Did not find anything in those 2 states that I would ever want to go back to see, which is why, again...
You telling me you just partied your nuts off in Kansas? Like, get to Kansas as fast as you can, man. There's nothing but fun there.
I had a good steak dinner in Kansas, but you're right. There isn't much going on there.
No, look, hey, I'm not one to make fun of the flyover states. I'm not. I spent my college years in a flyover state, and it's, here's the thing. There's a lot of homey properties that you get and just, I don't know. It's just a different beat of a lifestyle that really appeals to some people and really turns another group of people way off. I'm a city boy. I've been around enough cities and I've been around enough pastures to know I'm a city boy. I like a city life. I like a little coming and going and hustle and bustle. But again, San Francisco city life. I don't need the New York grinding, freaking, waking up 7:30 in the morning, cocaine, stock market. No, thank you. No, thank you. That's a little too intense for me. I like,
oh my God,
little weed in the morning. Let's talk to Cyrus.
I love it. Damon, when we come back, I have a question that I'd love for you to answer.
All right.
And that question is, we're looking at these elite teams right now. Minnesota. Denver, I think, is still an elite team, even though they're going to have some interesting questions this offseason if the series goes the way it's heading. Boston, OKC. We're looking at very elite teams. And my question to you is, do the Warriors have any shot against them next year? And if not, which is what I'm guessing your answer is, maybe you'll say they do. But if they don't, what the hell is the point of bringing Klay back? What the hell is the point of giving Wiggins minutes? What is the point of playing your veterans when you don't have a shot at a title? I'd love to get your answer on that after I give some love to some folks. Thankfully,
tease, folks. That's a tease.
That's a tease. Yeah. You and I are radio veterans, and that's been ingrained in us. And there's some questions in the chat we're going to get to as well. First and foremost, though, we got a big national sponsor here, and that's Yahoo Finance. That's a big one. Thank you very much, Yahoo, for sponsoring the program. Wouldn't it be great if you could see all your investment and retirement accounts in one place? With Yahoo Finance, you can consolidate your views from multiple accounts into one hub and access the expert analysis you need to tend to your entire portfolio with confidence. Let's get straight to the point. You want to grow your portfolio to deal with the rising costs of inflation. That should be rewritten as corporate greed, to pay off your debt or your mortgage, pretty much anything standing in the way of you and financial freedom. With Yahoo Finance, you can get access to the news, data, and tools that you need in order to help reach that financial freedom. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need in one place. They are the #1 finance destination, producing a holistic look at the financial news cycle, including breaking news, original editorial perspectives, analyst ratings, independent research, customizable charts, and so much more. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com. The #1 financial destination, yahoofinance.com. One more time, that's yahoofinance.com.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Damon, are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day?
No.
Well, then you don't have to worry about turning down the volume of all that shouting. And by the way, there was a lot of shouting this morning. That was fascinating content. I'll save that for a future show. But regardless, make the switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Damon Bruce is free and available as well. You can follow him on Twitter at Damon Bruce. You can subscribe to his YouTube channel, Damon Bruce Plus. You've got over 20K and growing. Congratulations,
We're on our
my
way.
man.
We're on our way. Would we look at it this way? If we screamed more, we'd probably be already over the 20K. But I insist on not screaming. So here we are.
You're doing fine, man. I promise you that. But right now, I'm very curious to know what your thoughts are, because the Warriors, again, this was my gripe this last season, and I think this is why I thankfully have an audience here, is because we call out the things that most other people wait 6 months to a year later to bring up, which is that we saw a year ago on this program, this Warriors team was not going anywhere with this current roster. They were too small. They were too old. And now it is clearly evident that they are not on the same level as Minnesota, as OKC, as Boston. So my question to you, Damon, is what is the point of giving, if you re-sign Klay, I don't know if that's going to even happen, but if you re-sign him, what is the point of giving him heavy minutes? What is the point of giving Wiggins minutes when you should be developing players like Kuminga, Moody, Podziemski, Trace Jackson-Davis, your Indiana alum? Your thoughts, sir?
What's the path out? What's the path to getting better? It feels like a key element of getting better is getting younger. And without a first-round draft pick, as of right now, everyone says, well, what they need is a 27-year-old guy who's right in his prime right now. Well, they got him, and his name is Andrew Wiggins. And unfortunately for the Warriors, he just sucks.
Yeah, he does.
So,
I mean, blunt, but it's true. Yeah.
No, here's the thing. Like, I know what you could be, and I know what you are. And based on the difference in those two things, you suck. That's the way it goes for Andrew Wiggins. There's no player who I enjoy watching less than him going through the motions. So the one guy who's kind of got to lead you out of the darkness is the one guy that will never be the guy that's going to lead you out of the darkness. So it makes you think things like, well, we got to keep on, keeping on with Klay then. And look, if Steph Curry says that this is paramount to my success and my happiness, maybe you give Steph the benefit of the doubt. I saw today in an unsourced, uncredible NBA tweet that the Warriors are going to really shop Draymond Green this year.
Please tell me who said that. Or do you not want to get put your
worth it? NBA Trade Central. Like,
oh, gotcha. One of those things. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Okay. What's your source on anything?
It's all BS right now. Yeah.
But here's the deal, Cyrus. They should
consider it. Yeah.
The Warriors should be open to consider all available options in an offseason that's going to hamstring them to very few options when it all comes down to it. There are not a lot of levers to pull. They still have more levels to pull maybe than, it feels like everybody's comparing Steph, LeBron, and Kevin Durant against each other right now. And the Warriors, as cash-strapped as they have painted themselves to be due to their own success and retaining their own players, they're still in a better position than maybe the Lakers or the Suns at this particular time, but they're not in a great position. They're really not. And, outside, how do the Warriors instantly contend again? There's really only one way that happens.
Giannis?
And yes.
Yeah.
It would be Giannis or the equivalent of going full on James Harden, heavy-handed, demanding a trade to the team I want to be traded to. And unless some studly young buck stands up and says, get me to the Warriors or I'm not playing for you.
Please.
I'm not sure how they fix this to the point of we all agree that fixing this means that they appear in one more NBA Finals. The Warriors' finals appearances in the Steph Curry era are a whole lot closer to never happening again than they are happening again just once.
Absolutely right. I 100% agree. Let me ask you this, Damon. What is stopping? Because I'm looking at the Bucks situation. That's a disaster. If Giannis stays there, and I hope somehow this works, and I'm sending the energy out there constantly. I've been doing this for a month now. Giannis to the Warriors, please. If you're Giannis, what is keeping you in Milwaukee, man? That team is cooked. To me, they are no different than the Warriors. I think the Bucks next season could be worse than the Warriors because they have no young pieces developing. Whereas the Warriors, best case scenario, Kuminga, Pods, Moody, who, by the way, statistically was the best defensive player in the Warriors this past season. Trace Jackson Davis emerging as a legit big. He wants to work on his shooting this offseason. There is at least hope for the Warriors. There is no hope for the Bucks. What the hell is keeping Giannis there? Why is he not complaining yet and asking to get out? What do you think?
Loyalty.
Yeah.
Loyalty.
That
you
word.
know, and it's a little bit of a family business because, you know, he gets to get his brother paid there too.
We'll pay him. The Warriors will pay. I say we. The Warriors will pay him. We'll pay your brother. Thomas, get over here. You just tore his Achilles, by the way. We'll take care of you for a year.
Bring Thermos with you. We're cool.
Bring them all. Bring your parents.
All the Antetokounmpos with you. Bring them all. Yeah, but you know, here's the thing. He just doesn't seem to be wired to be that guy, right? It doesn't seem like who he is. Where James Harden identified himself as a for hire assassin years ago, and you know it. It doesn't feel like Giannis is wired that way. So again, the Warriors are in a very unique situation that there is no easy path out of, and you know, it's I think it's unrealistic for Warriors fans to be insisting that the Warriors find a way to continue this never regressed level of success, having had their moment, and unfortunately for them, it just didn't work out. Kevin Durant was that moment. He walked away. And then their next moment was, you got to hit on this draft pick when you get the second pick in the draft. And not only did they not hit on it, James Wiseman is the worst draft pick in the history of the Golden State Warriors based on expectation, competitive life cycle, what you needed from him, what you got from him, and then what you ended up getting from him. You know, unfortunately, all they did was trade a player who didn't play for a guy who's always so injured he can't get out there and play. Doesn't matter that we like Gary Payton or not. He is 8 games away from needing 6 weeks off.
Yeah, that's
at all time. You know, he really is. And that stinks. So a young guy that they've identified as we can go forward with him, you really can't because he's always hurt. I think it is time to walk away from Klay Thompson. I agree. Only if to break Steve Kerr's dependency on Klay Thompson. Again, what to me, like Moses Moody is the methadone that I think could get Steve off of his Klay Thompson habit. And I actually think that now you have a better player in Moses Moody on a nightly basis than you would on Klay. And I love Klay. It's hard to say anything bad about Klay. That's our dog. He's on the statue. He eats free forever. Okay. But you got to evolve. And you need someone who can defend the other team's best offensive player. And that's maybe the only thing Andrew Wiggins does well. Andrew Wiggins will go out there and stay in front of a guy. But he needs to do that on the wing. You need someone who can guard the other team's 2 guard. Pods isn't ready to do that. You got to ask Moody to do that. And you got to give Moody 33 minutes a night for 82 games and finally see what you got out of this guy.
100% agree with you because we have no idea what he could give, and we're never going to know that unless he gets a real run. When we come back, I got an interesting trade proposal in the chat that I'm going to broach because it is a little interesting, even though we're probably going to shoot it down, but it's new, it's original. So I'm going to play just for that reason. And then Ramona Shelburne of ESPN recently discussed Jonathan Kuminga. So let's talk about him as we wrap up the show after we give some love to our final sponsor of the morning/afternoon, and that is Monopoly Go, the fun game. It's on your phone now. They're sponsoring the program, and in Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for time tournaments where you're working together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock, and there's so much to get. You can get stickers, you can trade with friends, you can get cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. And side note, the reviews on the at least on the Apple App Store are phenomenal. So the game is clearly fun to play. It feels new, exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it free.
What's your preferred Monopoly game piece? I always go iron. I go iron.
Oh, the iron? That's random, dude. May I ask why?
because it's got a little easy to grab handle and move.
No, I'm the dog all day, every day, man.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
absolutely. Great question though, because you're right. So you get an answer like that. The iron. You might be the first person I've ever met who prefers that, but it makes sense. The little
Iron
handle.
sharpens iron.
Yeah, it's the little handle. I love it. So go download Monopoly Go. Now free on the Google Play or the App Store. Game on.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. For the everydayers, I'm back at this soon, talking about Draymond Green's recent comments, which got a lot of shouting on ESPN today. It was funny. It was hilarious that Draymond he's just a master of poking, pressing buttons and poking, and he said some interesting things. But right now, I got Damon Bruce with me. Follow him on Twitter at Damon Bruce. Subscribe to Damon Bruce Plus, a.k.a. Damon Bruce Plus. And right now, though, in the chat, I got some interesting stuff. Well, we'll save the Kuminga thing for last because Victor K writes, what do you think about trading Andrew Wiggins and Chris Paul? This means you would have to exercise the team option for Bradley Beal, and then you don't sign Klay. This sadly intrigues me. Your thoughts, Damon?
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. You're in the painted into the corner. Can you get a better player than Bradley Beal? Maybe not. So there's something to talk about. Having said all that, Bradley Beal has never won anything. I mean, he has never made a team demonstratively better. He is not someone who showed up in Phoenix and that all works. And I'm going to tell you, if in any way, shape, or form, the officiating that we've seen in this playoffs runs into the regular season, what are you going to do with Bradley Beal? Bradley Beal is a finesse guy. And I'm looking at a league that's allowing more and more contact than ever before. So,
which I love. I love that, by the way. Do you like it?
Yes. Yes.
Same.
Yes.
Same. Love it.
Basketball with elbows. Yes.
Sign me up.
I want that. I want physical basketball. I'm a Big Ten guy. But here's the thing, Victor K, I like your thinking. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Give me options. Give me ideas. Give me
Exactly.
something to look at. And it's the Warriors, I think, Cyrus, are desperate to do something other than trying to run it back. They have reached the trying to run it back is no longer the good idea phase. It's just tough. It's where they are. It really is.
The good news, Damon, we've been talking about this on the show, is if it's highly unlikely they're going to exercise the Chris Paul team option. That's $30 million you save right there. If Klay doesn't come back, the Warriors are in actually a good spot where they will have a $12+ million mid-level exception and a $4+ million mid-level exception, two of them. So you can get some. I mean, they're not going to be game changers, but you can at least surround the current cast with some interesting pieces to add some depth, some size. And then Ant Skellington writes, and we'll wrap it up here because I know you got to run. Ant Skellington writes that he saw a report, this is from Ramona Shelburne, that Jonathan Kuminga is untouchable. This is nothing new. We've talked about this on the show as well. Joe Lacob loves the kid. I don't blame him. I don't want him moved. Your thoughts on Jonathan Kuminga in general?
He'd be right on top of my I'd rather develop than trade. But again, I'm going to go the old Ricky Waters in Philadelphia. For who, for what?
Exactly.
For who, for what? Don't just say Jonathan Kuminga traded for an idea. Tell me what the idea is. Show me the other side of the deal, and then we can talk.
Absolutely.
The other side of that deal, going to have to blow my socks off, by the way, because I do believe in Jonathan Kuminga. But yeah, well, let's talk about anything. And I want all options on the table. There's one man who can't talk about him, and that's Steph Curry.
Yeah, absolutely right. Totally with you. Damon, this is always a pleasure. Let's do this again soon. Let's hope Giannis expresses his unhappiness, because that is the cloud that I'm floating on. And I keep telling people, get off my cloud. This is my fantasy. But there is some reality to it. And let's end the show on this note. I firmly believe in this hypothetical scenario that if Giannis Antetokounmpo decides this isn't working, we already know Damian Lillard's unhappy. He wants to go to Miami and start his bachelor life anew because he wants to be a bachelor in Milwaukee. So I feel like the Warriors, if Giannis makes himself available, have the best package to offer. 2 first-rounders, plus that nucleus of young players who can give Milwaukee something immediately. Do you agree, or do you think there's other teams out there that can offer something more?
It's the one of the very few players where I guess Kuminga is now in play, right?
Exactly. Yes. I would say that. Yeah.
Right. So that's, yeah. I mean, if Giannis has any interest at all in forcing his way here,
please.
If I'm Joe Lacob, I'm sending a private airplane for him, and I'm booking a table at Kokari. We're getting some souvlaki in, my man. We're doing it out here. Kokari's the best Greek restaurant. That's what I'm doing. We're going to have all the spanakopita. We're going to be ready to go.
I love you, brother. I love you, man. People can follow you on Twitter at Damon Bruce. Subscribe to Damon Bruce Plus. 20K and counting for subscribers. Bravo, brother. Thank you. Anything you want to promote or mention before we go?
It's a gorgeous day outside. Sundress conditions all around. Go outside. Go to whatever your favorite local bar or restaurant is, and give them a little bit of your business. You don't have to order the surf and turf. It doesn't have to be a $300 dinner out. Go have a cocktail. Go have an appetizer. One of my favorite bars in the city, Hobson's Choice on Haight, is closing because they just don't have enough foot traffic anymore. And that can't happen. We got to keep the places that we love open. It's gorgeous outside in the Bay Area. Spend a little money at your favorite establishment this weekend. Buy a girl a drink. See what happens. It's a good time.
That disturbs me, man. Hobson's Choice is like a staple. That's been there as long as I can remember.
27 years.
Yeah,
and it's one of the great, it's like a Victorian rum punch house. There's no other place in San Francisco like that.
That's sad.
And
That's sad news.
We're not going to have it soon enough. So get to Hobson's, get to Hobson, spend a little money there on your way out. My buddy Chris Dickerson has been running that place forever. It's a shame that that's happening, but
it is.
Take nothing for granted in the favorite places that you like going. Every single restaurant in the world right now is like 3 bad months away from shutting its doors. So get out there, throw a little cash around, have a good time, buy that pretty girl in that sundress a cocktail, and see what happens.
There is no institution in today's crazy world that is safe. It is a wild scene out there. But except for us, you can always find us, even though we're virtual.
Undefeated. Here's the thing. The key to our success is you don't have to pay a thing to watch this.
Right. We're free. We're free. Right.
Bullshit's free.
DMs are open. Damon, thank you, brother. Well, you're married, so DMs are open. Thank you, everyone. And we'll be back at this soon. Damon, love you, man. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.